The idea to make a giant kaleidoscope came from wanting to film the inside of some kaleidoscopes that I already have, but due to the size of the opening to the kaleidoscope, I wasn't able to fit a camera any bigger than a phone up to it. So I decided to make a giant one. This kaleidoscope is an equilateral triangle with 30-degree angles on either side, overlapping to form a 60-degree angle. The same geometry is used on the mirror system in this kaleidoscope, which is also an equilateral triangle. I cut 3 pieces of birch plywood to 12 by 7 with the 30-degree angles cut on the long end. Next, I pre-drilled holes for screws to hold together the kaleidoscope housing. I sanded the plywood down and then applied a thin coat of natural wood colored finish to the outside. This might have been a bit too soon, however, as I almost forgot I still needed to build the mounting hardware that would attach the kaleidoscope to the tripod. I'll be using this 1/4-inch furniture mount, which I found at Lowe's, to attach the screw part of the tripod onto the kaleidoscope. This furniture mount would be concealed under 2 pieces of plywood, which would be mounted to the bottom of the kaleidoscope using a 3rd piece of plywood. Now it was time to attach the tripod mount and assemble the kaleidoscope housing. For the assembly, I taped the plywood sides together and then screwed them in place. Next, it was time to make the viewing windows. I constructed these out of a polycarbonate material called Lexan. Then, I matched up the viewing ports to the ends of the kaleidoscope and marked the holes for pre-drilling. I used a wood burning kit to pre-score the holes for the screws. I drilled consecutively larger holes and then put these pieces aside to attach later. Now it was finally time to start working on the mirror system of this kaleidoscope. While wearing gloves, I peeled the protective coating off of the mirrors that I bought from kaleidoscopestoyou.com. I positioned the mirrors so that the edges overlapped like the kaleidoscope housing, and then taped them together with a filament tape from Staples. Next, I cut pieces of paper to cover the gap between the exterior housing and the interior mirror system. This is because the housing of the kaleidoscope is larger than the interior mirror system. Now I can remove the cardboard mock-up I made to test the size and replace it with the actual mirrors. Before attaching the viewing windows, I cut pieces of Tempur-Pedic foam and inserted them in between the kaleidoscope housing and the mirrors to make sure that the mirrors were secure. For the final step, I attached the viewing windows along with the paper pieces that I'd cut earlier. For the first test, I simply slid a magazine under the lens of the kaleidoscope and filmed it from the top end. The results were definitely pleasing. Here's some more footage that I collected over the next few days by putting various objects in front of this kaleidoscope. Enjoy.